Hello everybody, I'm the Galactic Geek, and welcome to a bit of a Dungeon Masters guide. Not necessarily guide. Dungeon Masters podcast? Talk? No idea what I'm gonna call this. But Dungeon Masters Lair? Dungeon Master, no. We'll go with Dungeons, I don't know. So, I'm running a D&D session tonight, and I saw Matt Colville do this. Matt Colville, if you watch this, I just liked your idea. I'm not stealing it. Please forgive me. But I'm doing this anyways. It's about 3.5 hours before the session starts, and I'm just going to kind of give you guys a run over of what I'm setting up. So right now, I have this in front of me, this desk, just stockpiled with books, things like that I'm just scoring over before session starts so I can be prepared. This is my dungeon sheet for the night. That's the dungeon that I'll be running. So I'm just going to kind of go over what I think is going to happen, and then I'm going to do a second part to this and what actually happens. So it's going to be part 1, it's going to be what I think is going to happen. Part 2 is going to be what actually happens. So, the world in the campaign is the land of Adorai. It's a world that I've created, and it is inhabited by dwarves, men, elves, orcs, goblins, undead, and it's a very interesting party that I have. One of them, I have a party of 7, which is the largest I've ever run. One of them is the Doomslayer, or he's making a build that makes him the Doomslayer. Another is making a build so he essentially becomes the Mandalorian or Boba Fett from Star Wars. Another is a Dwarven Paladin. Another is a Warforged Druid. One is a variant human who was a medic during one of the last wars. I don't remember what his class is, unfortunately. I'm still trying to get everything. Another is a variant human who's a Bloodslayer, and the final one is a Tiefling Bard, who I pray and hope doesn't try to seduce anything. But we'll see. So, essentially what I've got set up is that they're going to... it's going to be set during the Allied Wars, which is a period of civil war in Adorai, between goblins, orcs, and undead, and men, dwarves, elves, and dragonborn. This is a huge conflict, the largest that Adorai has seen for over a millennia, at least. Not a millennia, excuse me. Over about 5 centuries, about 500 years. This is the largest conflict that anyone has ever seen, any living being has ever seen. And so they're going to be thrown into the middle of that. They're going to start in a tavern, because I think that's a very nice place to start. They will all come together. They'll meet. There's going to be some tension already, because one of the players is Mando's bounty that he's hunting, and the other, and the Doomslayer, despises tieflings and anything of that nature. So he's immediately going to try and kill the tiefling. So that'll be a fun first probably 20 to half an hour. Then they will be informed that there is a parade of the victories of the armed forces, and that the king's armed forces are going to war once again. And during that parade, there is going to be, the king will be assassinated by a goblin with a poison blow dart. He's going to be shot. He's going to die instantly. And the goblin's going to run off. And I'm hoping that the players are going to make perception checks and try and track down the goblin, because the goblin's going to get on a wolf outside the city and ride off. So I have to tell the players, I think that the druid should be able to make a pretty good survival or nature check to try to track the goblin, and hopefully they will have the necessary skills and abilities to track this goblin to Adon Keep, which is an old keep, run down, and they are going to hopefully, enter the keep. It's a dungeon, so there's going to be traps and things of that nature. When they come to the last room, they are going to meet a bunch of goblins, all bearing the same crest. It's going to be this blood red circle with a sword going down the very center. And there's probably going to be a conflict. I'm not going to have them roll for initiative unless one of them outright attacks. Then I'm obviously going to roll for initiative. What I'm hoping is that they talk and not just slash and slay, is that they're actually going to talk. And the goblins are actually part of a, not religious order, but a secret order. A secret order of goblins who are actually loyal to men and their empire, and that the goblin just assassinated the king because he was the instigator of the Allied Wars. He not worded it. He manufactured it. He made certain events happen. He paid off mercenaries to see goblin ships burned. See men's ships burned, blame it on goblins, things of that nature. And so, he's not in a cell. If the negotiations go well, the goblins are going to show the adventurers that they have a very young boy with them. That is the true heir to the throne. And they're going to say, you need to reinstate him. We have no say. We are goblins. We cannot, or we truly cannot reinstate him because we are goblins. And if we try and reinstate him, they'll think that we're putting a false heir to the throne and a sympathizer to goblins and orcs on the throne. We cannot do that. You can do that. So, but then while this is all happening, there is going to be some knights that show up in all black, confront the heroes, and say, traitors to the throne, arrest them. And there's going to be a combat that happens. But these knights are actually of the the name I'm still fuzzy yet, but they're all black. I actually might have a name written down for them if I can get it open in my notebook of lore. The Black Guard is what I have called them, and I just dropped a pencil. Hello again. So they are the Black Guard of this King Thalion, who was the previous king, and now this young boy Edmund, who they are going to need to reinstate. But as far as the rest of the kingdom knows, the heroes are now in league with these goblin assassins who have just assassinated the true king. So now it's going to be very interesting to see where they go from there. That's what I got planned for tonight. Fake King's going to get assassinated by goblins. Heroes hopefully track him, find out what he's doing, negotiate with the goblins, see that they have the true heir to the throne, and then there's going to be a combat where they essentially need to get out. The boy Edmund is going to have some contacts with the dwarves in Bel Air, which is going to be really cool for the dwarven player because he gets to go to his base. He gets to go to his home. So that's going to be really cool. But we'll see how the players handle this. I probably won't be able to film this the second part of this until maybe late tonight, or I don't know. We'll see how things go. So that just happened. It's about an hour after the session just ended, and holy crap. Oh, so let me explain what actually happened. So, they meet in the tavern. There's obviously that skirmish because one of them is a tiefling, one of them's literally pure evil, and hates tieflings. So there was that skirmish there, which I was expecting. Another is a bounty hunter who is hunting a bounty, and one of the party members was his bounty. So there was that skirmish there, which I was okay with. And that one is planned. So the the Doomslayer and the Mandalorian go, and they go to a weapons shop. The Mandalorian buys a heavy crossbow. Mando buys a heavy crossbow. Mando's name is Armis. Armis buys a heavy crossbow. Doomslayer doesn't buy anything. He's silent through a lot of this. And what they learn is that today is the day of the king's birthday. There's going to be this massive parade that comes through, and excuse me, there's going to be celebrations, everything like that. They also know that this is in the middle of a civil war between humans, elves, dwarves, and dragonborn against goblins, orcs, and undead. Undead in my world are a species, not just an enemy that you fight. And so they come together, and then they're watching the parade, and the tiefling, who's actually a changeling, goes outside, waves, and as he's watching the king, people begin screaming. The king is shot dead with a dart. He then, Armis and Doom run out. They see a figure darting into an alleyway, and they give chase. Norbert, who is our battle medic, goes, expects the king, finds the dart, gives the dart to a guard, and he says, hey, this is a dart of goblin make. He rolls high enough on his history check, and the guard says, oh great, and he takes the dart. So now the dart is gone. Then they follow the hooded figure through the city, the rest of the party does, until they come to this secret doorway out of the city where there's a field, and then they come out of the field and see this hooded figure hop on a direwolf into the forest. Armis and Doom fire their crossbows, both miss. So then the party is like, we'll go back inside, which is not what I was planning. I was like, oh, they have the suspect. They're gonna go after him. No. Oh, it was great. It was fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So then they go back inside. So they go to an armor shop close to them. They go inside. This very nice tiefling is in there. So immediately Doomslayer is like clenching his fists, and Armis says, stay outside. So he goes in. He begins inspecting the plate mail. He thinks he's getting a really good deal, but then begins to inspect the armor, and he can see that the equivalent of medieval zip ties are holding the armor together. So he's like, this is a ripoff. Yeesh. So then he begins accusing him and says, give us better armor or we're going to make you pay. The tiefling brings out two guards in full plate with halberds and says, you don't know who you're dealing with. To which Doomslayer comes in, grabs him by the neck, yeets him into a bunch of armor stands, which causes the armor to fall over in the shop like a domino effect. And then we have initiative. To which the dwarf paladin comes in and insta-kills the tiefling businessman, who was actually a tiefling warlock. The guards come to town and are like, what's going on? The battle medic, Norbert, comes out. He sees the captain of the guard coming down the street and recognizes him as one he saved in one of the previous wars as a battle medic. And the captain recognizes him, and they meet up a bit. They catch up a bit. And Norbert goes, hey, the people in there, they were trying to steal from us. We only retaliated because they were stealing, and I said roll for deception. He rolls high enough, and the captain of the guard looks at the tieflings, looks at them, says, we'll put them away. So that was also really good, because that got the party out of a really bad jam that I was in no way prepared for. So then the party loots the store, and the dwarven paladin finds a lion's shield. This is a magical item that I'm going to have be a more important item later down the road, which I'm not going to tell you because even I haven't figured it out yet. But I think this is a really cool magic item that they're just going to obscurely come across, and it's going to play a significant role further down the line. So, that's the lesson. The lesson for tonight is be prepared for anything. I was underprepared. and I think I suffered, but they still said it was a great session. I would prefer to be over-prepared than underprepared. So, that is the Adventurer's Journal #1 for this session, for this campaign. I'm probably going to do these weekly, so expect a weekly video to come out about these sessions. I think this is going to be really cool. It's going to be very neat. This is a large party. This is for 7 people. This is going to be insane. But I will talk to y'all next time. This is the Galactic Geek. Peace out.